Folks, welcome back. My name is Rudy. You're watching Alpha Investments. We picked up a collection a couple months ago, and I don't know when you'll watch this video, but I just want to share. This is a small collection of graded slabbed cards from an individual that was liquidating some stuff. And I kind of want to talk about the discussion. I kind of want to tell you all the perspective, the lack of excitement in vintage Magic cards, the attitude of Rudy's museum. These are museum quality. That's what Rudy used to say in the boom in 2021. And I kind of want to tell you all where I stand after a 2-year bear market and the market getting flushed and a lot of people leaving and a lot of excitement being gone. And today, you're looking at a Beta Chaos Orb, PSA 9. Beautiful looking card. Obviously extraordinarily off-centered to the right there. Definitely a beautiful card there. A few little not perfect, few little marks here and there, but it is a beautiful 9 card. Alpha seems to be holding up the best. And by say holding up the best, still the most expensive, but keep in mind, Alpha is nowhere near its all-time highs. Nowhere near its all-time highs. So let's not even pretend like that's a thing. But the Alpha cards have come down probably, in my opinion, between 20 and 40% from the all-time high. The biggest issue with Alpha Magic is you had wealthy people who had a lot of access to capital, assets, and leverage at cheap prices and borrowing money in the easy era of free tendies. There appears to have been a good amount of leverage used, and a lot of those individuals overpaid for slabbed Alpha cards. So, yes, a lot of the Alpha cards dropped a lot in value, but raw Alpha cards in normal, Alpha graded 6, 7, 8, 9 range have not really experienced much of, I would say the overall percentage pullback from the highs on those would probably be between like 10 and 30%, which is not very much. But now people who spent huge premiums and bought Alpha cards that was a 9.5 with 3 quads and a sub and a plus. I just can't. I'm sorry. Yeah, I just can't. I think they've experienced a tremendous swing if they have to sell. Now, if you don't have to sell, I'm sure they could ride it out and be just fine. What do we got here? We got unlimited time volts in this particular collection. PSA 9 also. Beautiful looking card. I'll set her down on the front there. And a lot of dust and little nicks on the case and all of that. A few little spots on the card itself. But honestly, absolutely beautiful card, everybody. I can't tell if some of those are on the spots or on the card. Or both. Doesn't really matter. It is a beautiful PSA 9 Time Vault. Now, if you're not aware, if you're new to this channel and my history in Magic the Gathering, Time Vault is actually one of my favorite Magic cards of all time. I was big in hoarding beta Time Vaults years ago. I have like maybe around 20 beta Time Vaults now. I was just a huge fan of that card, especially in black bordered. Similar to the unlimited Time Vaults, I probably have around 20 to 30 also. But I just absolutely love this card from Dr. Mark over here. I just think the artwork, something about this particular artwork represents the original era of Magic to me. It's a very, very special thing. I don't know if it's the creepy alien-looking people, the fact that the aliens and the technology, but he's still holding an old-fashioned hammer. It's a really interesting thing. So as far as the future of Time Vaults, again, no matter what you see on this channel and Rudy deploying capital to buy these things, again, this transaction was done in the middle of 2023. You're probably not going to watch this video to the end of the year or maybe even going into next year. I still believe that these items are great collectibles and they will stand the test of time. I expect very little to no appreciation in value anytime soon. If anything, I think the prices of these game pieces are going to stay the same, or the price of the game pieces is going to go lower. Okay, that is my attitude of looking at these cards right now. But I want them. I enjoy them. It's an extension of me. It makes me happy. So the rest of that's kind of irrelevant, everybody. All right, now, let's jump over to the good old Ancestral Recall over here. Infamous card from the old Dr. Mark once again. We have a beautiful PSA 8 off-center to the left there with a little bit of wear on it. You can see some marks all over this particular card. But you know what? Absolutely stunning card to have. Beautiful, infamous old framework on there. Nice old school text. You can even see some dirt on the white edging there. Recall, in my opinion, once again, I always deemed Ancestral Recall the most powerful card in the game. I know Black Lotus, Time Twister, and EDH, Rudy, and Commander. I've always, again, out of all the Power 9, Time Vault's probably my favorite, which is technically the Power 10. Well, some people think Library of Alexandria is the Power 10. I think Mana Vault, oh my god, I'm all over the place. Word salad. I think Time Vault and Library of Alexandria are kind of the two Power 10 cards, and people argue all the time. Ancestral Recall to me was always the most powerful card. It's been a long time since we've talked about this, folks. Sit back, relax. I haven't been publishing collection videos because of just the sheer garbage market, and it's just nauseating to look at anything online because everybody just hates each other. So I figured, you know what? I'll publish this to you all sometime in the future. Maybe you'll see it in 2023 or 4. I don't know. 2024, Rudy here to tell you all. I think it's the most powerful Power 9 card. And once again, I do not believe Ancestral Recall, just like the rest of the Power 9, is going to appreciate, skyrocket in value. I do not think there's any easy money, quick tendies, or anything in these cards right now. I want to make that very, very clear. If you're interested in collecting these, well, this is the time to do it. If you're trying to do flip things or on leverage or anything, you're a Timmy and you're going to get completely punched in the face by your wife's boyfriend. Now let's move to something else. Good old Time Walk. The other card I thought was the most powerful card, because the fact is, essentially Time Walk lets you draw another card because you get another turn, and it lets you attack a second time because you get another turn. I always thought, well, Time Walk again, and I thought these blue cards were kind of the most powerful cards. I still don't think Black Lotus is the greatest card in the game, but that's just my opinion, and I'm an idiot. Obviously, Miss Amy, as you can see down there, infamous card over here. This one is a PSA 8. Slightly off-centered again. You can see the corners. We have dirt and stuff on it on the white border. And we do have a pretty noticeable wear, probably on all the corners. Yeah, wow. There's a lot of wear on that corner. Geez, that's not on the case, too. That's a card. There's a lot of wear on that particular corner. I'm actually surprised I got an 8. All right, so Time Walk over here. Same thing, beautiful card. I don't expect anything exciting to happen. And it's funny because when we went through all these years of reserve list buyouts, and everybody being all dramatic about it. Everybody, oh, they're so expensive. They need to be cheap game pieces for my 8 roommates in the Taco Bell Wednesday bathroom that's broken and all this stuff. And then, you have a market reset. And you have everything go on sale 20, 30, 40, 50% off. And, all of a sudden, all those people, they're like, God, can you imagine? They just disappear. There's no posts. There's no comments in my comment section of people excited to buy very unique game pieces that are old at discount. There's none of it. None of it. It all just disappears. Isn't that shit wild? Time Twister. PSA 8.5 in this collection. Infamous piece of art from Dr. Mark, right? I'm not screwing it up yet. Dr. Mark, once again. Beautiful, beautiful card. Graded 8.5. And, wow. A lot of damage on that 8.5. Wow, really? This is an 8.5? Dang, I got hosed. Same thing. Don't you ever find it funny that the Power 9, 3 of the Power 9 are just blue cards? There's no Power 9 in red, in green, in black, or white. Isn't it amazing it's just in blue? I always thought that was a funny thing. Obviously, Time Twister, one of the most underappreciated cards in the past, and the cheapest of the Power 9 in the past, and then all of a sudden, in recent years, with all, Commander, everything, 4 of, 8 of, 12 of. Obviously, Time Twister became a really big thing, and I don't think that's ever going to go backwards based on the direction of Magic, what they're leaning into, and what's popular. Just my opinion. All right, so we got over here, we got the old Dr. Pearl coming in at the 6, at the lowest grade, so I would assume this thing's probably got a lot of surface damage or issues or something. Oh yeah, oh wow, that definitely has quite a bit of wear on there. We got a Pearl at 6. Once again, in the peak of the market, in the mid-2021, even a 6 Pearl, this thing would probably have been like $5,000+. Maybe some poor Timmy paid $6,000, $7,000 or some goofy number. I have no idea. I'm just making up crap on the spot now. In my opinion, this is a pretty well-loved Pearl that's played over here. Probably MP condition, in my opinion. Depending on the server, you have to crack it out. But man, it's pretty. That's a pretty played Pearl. And I'm gonna go ahead and shift the conversation now to The stores like the Card Castles, the Channel Snowballs, the Really Awesome Stuff Inc., the Super Fairy and Frogs, all these companies, the buy list prices that stores are willing to pay have tanked so much. Like a buy list on this probably used to be between $3,000 and $4,000 at the peak. The buy list now is probably, you ready for this? Is probably going to be between like $800 and $1,500, like a 60 to 70% decline from the market peak. Like if I, and you wonder why I'm the only idiot still buying, maybe not publishing these videos, maybe I'll delay the publishing for a long time, but isn't that wild? All right, let's look at another really cool one, shall we? All right, so what we got over here? We got the Emerald. Once again, Emerald in a 6. Okay, what do we got here? Beautiful looking card. All centered there left to right. And yeah, very, actually this is in a lot nicer condition. You can see the nicks and chips on it, but maybe there's some surface damage or binder dent. This one's a lot nicer 6 than that pearl. Dude, the pearl on this bad boy is nasty. Oh, that's a nicer 6, but I'm sure there's other variables that went into that average number. So, actually, now that I think about it too, that pearl has more yellowing now that the light's hitting it. And this one's more of a clean white border too. Geez, that is a big difference. All right, so Emerald, same thing. A lot more expensive than the pearl. This thing from the buy list and from the highs to lows, we're talking 50, 70% declines from the all-time high, even on buy list and sales. It's absolutely wild, everybody. So next we got Ruby. Don't you guys love the sound? Beep, 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 beep. I know the comment section. This man has so much time and money, he literally plays Pong with his Power 9. How can you watch or support this scumbag? Well, your wife likes to visit me. This is an actual PSA 9. I think this is the highest. Oh no, our time bowl is a 9. The beta card was a 9. So we got a 9 Ruby over here, off-centered. Looks a little, let's see what we got here. Pretty, okay, this one's a lot cleaner. Okay. Wait. Maybe some of that's probably the case. So we got a 9 Ruby, and, all right, I'm going to be doing that all night. Rudy, where's all your videos? Why did you ship my order? I'm a patron. I've been busy. I've been busy all day. This is what this channel's become. Same thing. Now, when you have 9s or above, these are truly mint condition cards. I consider grades of 8 or lower, like these are all up here, these 8s. These are usually light played cards, in my opinion, because you can see you can see really actual wear. And when you see things like this, you know, that's a straight up just MP played condition. That's rough. I want to comment again, a Ruby like this, okay, in PSA 9, which, whatever, Beckett 9, PSA 9, Rudy 9, whatever. In a 9 condition, this is truly a mint condition pack fresh card. Usually that's how they would look, kind of thing, unless you have, you know, roller lines and damage from the factory. A card like this this would have probably buy listed for between $4,000 and $5,000 at the peak of 2021. A card like this probably would have sold for between $6,000 and maybe $9,000 at the peak. I mean, this is when you start hitting this. When you get 9s or above, you start getting premiums. Anything 9.5 or lower, when you start hitting 8s or lower, there's no premium to having it slabbed. It doesn't mean anything unless you're 9s or above. You don't get any bonuses for it. All you're doing is guaranteeing the card's authentic, in my opinion. You know, these are just regular played cards, but they're in a PSA slab. It doesn't really mean much on here. So next we're going obviously next. You know what's next? We got the Jet. So over here we have, once again, is this an 8? We have an 8 Jet over here. You guys see some of that with it. And how's our 8 look? 8 looks, there's quite a bit of wear on that 8, all the way across the bottom there. And a lot of stuff in the slab too. A lot of dirty plastic. But it's okay. I like dirty plastic. And now the Jet here, same thing. When we get to the Jet, and now here, I'll go ahead and put her out. When we get to the Jet and the Sapphire, these kind of the top two of the jewelry of magic, the black and blue over here. These are the most expensive, obviously, with Sapphire being the most expensive. How's the 7 look? That's pretty low. How's it? Oh yeah, that looks like it's okay. Yeah, that's pretty. All right, yeah, it looks like it. That's definitely a played card. Sapphire also, if you go on even, you know, a Moon City Games, even a card Kingdoms Castles to the Moon, all these websites, it doesn't matter who they are, the price decline just like sealed product on these has been nasty. And what's another interesting thing as we wrap up this video, here it comes. You guys ready? Here it comes. As we wrap up this video, I think what's most fascinating is not only the price declines, but I waited 15 minutes to talk about this part of the video. I think what gets my attention is that with the major price declines, all the big stores have almost no inventory. And that was something that I've had multiple patrons throughout 2023 talk to me about. We haven't really had much conversation on the vintage magic stuff and everything because, again, in bad markets like this, nobody cares. It's not met with any, like the comment section below won't be met with any good opinions and conversations. And it's just going to be mostly just people either attacking me, attacking a store, attacking each other. You can't really have a lot of good kind of discussion and a lot of good data points online when things are bad because everybody's emotional and angry. But I think the biggest thing that continues to really get some of the whales' attention that I talk to is you would think with how low these prices are, undoing years of price gains. Some of these things are almost back to 2019 pricing, okay? You would think getting a 4-year discount, 4 years of time taken off the price, you would think that would really excite some of these stores or companies. And then I've had some things where people have, I'm sorry, hold on. Rudy has emailed himself, and when I read this email to myself, a lot of these stores, after that easy gravy train money era of 2021, don't have the capital. A lot of these big stores are really, really struggling. And I'm going to just say one little comment because I don't want people to just completely come after me and hate me even more than I am. A lot of these stores, including TCG Players and Card Kingdom, have been dealing with a lot of union-related issues, labor issues, and costs and expenses on the businesses. Now, when things are good and booming, I understand. It makes sense. But we're in a market that's bleeding and eroding in value. So if you're dealing with internal company issues, major changes, maybe labor, employees versus owners or management, unions versus owners of the company, when you're dealing with any of that stuff and you're going through the down cycle of a market, you're going to be in a very tough place. And I believe that's the reason we're seeing some of these select few big companies are not able to deploy capital or kind of expand or take advantage of some of these opportunities. And I've talked about that in the past, before we went into 2020 craziness, back in the 2017 through 19 era, I made a lot of conversations and videos to you all about time in the market versus timing the market. And I gave a lot of good examples, and it may be time to readdress and discuss some of these again. But I just want to leave everybody on a kind of interesting comment to you all. Remember, for those of you who did stick around the vintage magic world a very long time, a lot of people made a lot of money flipping cards. Don't get me wrong. They could buy this Black Lotus for, I don't know, $5,000, and they would flip it on eBay for $7,000. And after shipping fees, they'd make $1,500. That was a very common practice with a lot of these businesses and individuals and backpack dealers and everything. And that was a very lucrative big thing that went on a long time. Now, when you go through bear markets and resets, that changes really quickly, okay? Because there's not really the opportunity to overly flip and make that quick movement because you don't have prices trending in your favor. When prices don't go upwards, if they stay flat or they continue to drift down 2 years in a row, like we've seen, the longer you hold an item, the more money you lose. If you're using leverage, not only are you losing on price appreciation, but you have cost of capital. Now, if you have unions and employees versus the owners and you have internal conflict, not only do you have cost of capital, price erosion, and now company expenses rising. You cannot navigate that kind of marketplace, and you cannot deploy money into things like this if you are dealing with those type of headwinds. And I believe that's why we are seeing a lot of these big companies have no inventory. Now, let me explain the very final comment on this. There will be a time when this market shifts. And guess what? Creepy Rudy, $8 haircut, taco waffle fry tater tot dude in Florida. I will be sitting in the corner and I will be waiting. And when that happens, you will see the nasty smirk on my face when it does turn. because it's going to happen. Nobody else thinks it is. Everybody believes Rudy and his stupid museum quality game pieces are dead. And I continue to expand, buy things, deploy capital, make sure I never have leverage and debt, and to make sure I can use the most valuable asset and the most valuable skill I have. And that is, I have more patience and I can outweight everybody. And that alone, just like anything on Wall Street, with stocks, bonds, anything, real estate, Bitcoin, collectibles, any of these things, the difference between a lot of people online and all the emotional swinging ups and downs of the Timmys online is I can outweigh everybody. I'm in my late 30s. I make sure I focus on good health besides tacos and waffle fries. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't vape. The closest thing to gambling I do is sealed product and cards. And I try to stay very active. And in my opinion, if I can make sure I have the next 40 years of good health and family and everything in front of me, that alone gives me extraordinarily positive odds. It makes the teeter-totter tip so far in my favor. It doesn't matter if the market stays flat a year. It could stay flat for 2-3 years. And guess what? That's happened many times. And I just want to remember, everybody, we can go 2 years of flat to negative, like you've seen. We can go 4 years of flat to negative. But guess what? All these big companies with no inventory of high-end rare magic like this, you know what's going to happen one day? The market's going to shift really quick. And within a couple-month period, you're going to see prices swing. You're going to see all the anger and panic as orders get canceled because prices get relisted higher, like always. And most people will miss out, just like they always do. I hope someone out there can remember these conversations. It helps them with their life and gives you a better perspective to look forward. Have a beautiful day, everybody.